Alright there people, welcome back to the Dawn Hub. You can call me the General, and in this video we are going to be setting up our working environment in order to start building website. Now before we move on, why don't you hit on the subscribe button, like the video, share and comment down below. In fact, in order to announce your presence, you know what we do? We type in "we feast" in the comment section. We feast. Remember that feast is spelled F-E-A-S-T. Only after you've done that, and then we can move on. So as you can already see here, I've opened up Notepad on my desktop. If you are using Windows like I am, you have to just go to the search button and then type in Notepad. As you can see, you open it right there. If you're on a Mac, I think you have to open text edit. If you're on Ubuntu or Linux, just open the simplest text editor that your OS came with, and then you are good to go. So what I want to show you here is how to simply write an HTML code, or maybe just get a web page up and running. Okay, let's just get a web page up and running. So the simplest thing we can do here, just type in hello world here, hello world, right? Just type in hello world and then save this file. So we're going to save it on our desktop. We're going to give it a name, test.html. Keep notice of this extension. Make sure you save it as .html, and then we'll save it as a type of all files. Okay, so all files, then you save it. Okay, so let me try to refresh my right. So now you can see it here. Double click on it and open. Voila, we see hello world in our web page. So this is basically an HTML code that has opened a web page. This is a web page built with HTML, but we want to define certain structures. We want to define how the text should look like. We want the title of our web page. We want the things to be showed, and maybe the footer, the headers, and every department of our web page. We want to define it. Okay, so doing this wouldn't make any sense, but in order to start, we'll have to maybe type in this. I'll explain what this means in a bit, but I want to show you how we should have done it in the right way. And I'll type in HTML. I'll close in. So as you can see, as I showed in a previous video, the angle brackets there, whatever is inside the angle brackets like this is an HTML tag. Okay, and then inside this HTML tag, I want to get as a header, a head actually, and then I'll close it with a backslash. And inside this head, I want to get as a title, okay, and I'll close it with a backslash there. And the title of this web page, I want it to be called practice. And then we are done for the head side. And then inside here, I want to get a body, and I close the body tag, a body. Okay, so inside this body is where we want to type what we want to see on the web page, right? So I want to then see an H1. I'll explain all these in a little bit. I just want to show you how we should have done it than just writing this the hello world on the screen, on the text editor. So inside here, inside your H1, then you can then type your hello world. All right, so now that I've typed it, let's view it and see how it looks like. Wow, so this is how it looks like. I don't know whether you took notice of the previous one. This was our previous one, right? Look at how it is, and look at this and this one, the current one we've done. As you can see, it has actually given it a structure, certain default formatting, right? Because in our code we gave it a structure, an H1. We actually put it in a body and an H1, and as you can see, we even have a title here, which is called practice, right? Practice. But the first one, it just gave it the title of the name of the file. But we want to define certain structures, so we give it a title of practice, and then we insert the structure of how our code should be like. H1 should give us hello world, and I can also, as we saw in the slides previously, we can give a p tag, and I'll close it with a backslash. That is how we close the tag, with a backslash. And then inside I can then type what we typed previously, Programming with General. That is my name. Programming with the General. We save it. And when we come back here, we refresh. You can see Programming with the General. Now, if you noticed, then the H1 is displaying differently from the P tag, because that is how we define it, that this should be a paragraph, right? And the paragraph has a different formatting from the H1, which is a header text. So this is how simple it is. This is how easy it is to get your web page up and running on your desktop. All you have to do is just open a text editor, type in this HTML code, and then save it in a specific format with the HTML extension. When you save it with that on your browser, on your desktop, or in a folder anywhere, you can then open it. When you open it, over here it shows you the path, right? And whatever changes you make, you have to refresh. You have to refresh. You have to refresh. All right, so after I've shown you this, what I want to show you next is another text editor. So this might work, okay? If you want to type in this, then this is okay. You can type your HTML code in this and there's no problem with it, but it has some disadvantages, and I'm going to show it to you. Now, I prefer to use a better text editor, and it's called Visual Studio Code, okay? So I already have one installed here, but if you want to get yours installed, you just move to this link right here, code.visualstudio.com/download, and then you download. If you're on a Windows, you download the Windows. If you're on a Linux or Ubuntu, you can use it. On a Mac, you can download this. So after you press on the install button, you should move and follow the steps and then install it. It's very lightweight and simple to install. It's actually simple to install. It's one of the best text editors out there. So after you've installed VS Code, you can then open it. Let me minimize this and open Visual Studio Code. Okay, so after you've opened Visual Studio Code, you've installed it. Let me cancel this and see. Probably yours will look different from mine, but that it shouldn't cause any scare or anything. You just have to just watch how everything is. They are probably giving you a welcome message, and then they are giving you some guidance. All you have to do is just ignore all of that, and then we'll start from here. So what I want us to do is open a new folder, right? I click there and open a new folder. We'll open a new folder in the desktop. We're going to create a new folder. I'm going to give it the name HTML tuts. All right, stands for tutorials. Okay, so yeah, and then I'll open that folder. So once we open that folder, VS Code is going to make the necessary settings, and then we have our folder open for us. So this shouldn't scare you. This is a very simple text editor to use. So actually, this arrow, anytime you see the arrow down, means that your folder has been opened, and you can create a new file in it. You can even create a new folder in it. But what you're going to do is you're going to create a new file, okay, and we are going to call it, like before, test. Actually, let me give it a new name. Why don't you call it index.html? I'll tell you why I'm calling it index in a bit. But wow, now we have our index.html file opened. Okay, so I'm going to actually copy this code that we typed in our Notepad and then paste it here. So as you can see already, VS Code is giving it some color stylings. You see the color. This is a text. This is an HTML tag. So it has given it a different. In fact, when I even hover on it, it's giving me what this represents. This is a title element that represents the document's title. You see, so VS Code is actually a nice text editor. It's giving you more. It's helping you code easily, right? So let me save this, and then I'll open it. I think when I come to my desktop, let me refresh this. I should see HTML tools open, and then I can open index.html, and you can see the same code. This is opened from VS Code. All right, so now that you've seen how to write code in VS Code, let me show you something. Now look at this. Look at the HTML on the Notepad and look at the one in the VS Code, as you can see, VS Code gives us nice formatting. First of all, we have the dark background, which will not make us strain our eyes so much. We have nice coloring, and then nice lines to know which one comes before which, and it's basically making our code simple and easy to write. That is why I choose VS Code. So thank you for your time. This is just a brief introduction on setting up our environment. We are going to do more installing new extensions. We are going to know how to open VS Code, open our code in the browser a different way, and all this is going to come in the next episode. So if you can't wait, why don't you go straight up, click on the next episode, and then I'll see you next. By the way, you can call me the General, and if you have not subscribed, why don't you subscribe, hit on the like button, comment down below, type in with feast. Don't forget, if you have not, type in with feast, FEAST, and I'll see you next.